If I say to you, which between years was peak of Ubisoft, what would you say? Well, I will say 2012-2016. This 4-year Ubisoft made really good games. Like Watching Dogs, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, these 4 games are the best Ubisoft games even for today. Ubisoft went into downfall after 2016. They became lazy and their game became fall into repetition. I love Black Flag so much. I believe it's the best Assassin's Creed game. The best. Story was little bit questionable, but overall gameplay and graphics was really good. Even for today, I believe this game better than entire Assassin's Creed games. Why? Why? I mean, you know how to make a good game. You have examples. Why you insist make these games? We want old Ubisoft back. We want old Kanye back. Old Ubisoft like making money while making games. New Ubisoft likes money while making games. This is the simplest explanation for Ubisoft right now. I got off topic. I wanna make video about Far Cry 4 because I wanna know how they made that game. I believe Far Cry 3 has best story and characters. But Far Cry 4's open world and gameplay is just better than Far Cry 3 times. It feels like they improved everything except story and characters. But I like Far Cry 4's story as well. It was good, but you know it could have been better. Then let's not waste our time and move on with Documentary. Short information about Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft itself. We can count Far Cry 4's successor to Far Cry 3. It's in the same world, same universe, so that's true. Far Cry 4 set in the fictional Himalayan country of Kairat, and I need to say if this country didn't have war, I would live there. Because it looks so peaceful, except bear and eagle attacks, but I'm pretty strong. I believe I can take bear in 1v1, but if I had a shotgun. Far Cry 4 first announced in 2014. Development on Far Cry 4 began immediately after the Assassin's Creed 3, which is late 2012. Main idea was to continue Far Cry 3's story. Well, that could be good, but bad at the same time, because we already have Jason, he completed his character development. There's potential, this could be good, but it's too risky. Like I said, first they wanted to continue story of Far Cry 3, but after a short time they gave up this idea. They wanted to make brand new story. For the story of Far Cry 4, they inspired the Nepalese Civil War. For the main villain, they inspired Ichir the Killer and Brother. And legendary old man Joel voice acted Pagan Min. Ubisoft Montreal designed and made Far Cry 4, but Red Storm Entertainment developed the multiplayer part. Well, it's obvious now why Far Cry 4 multiplayer sucks. Maybe a game not designed for multiplayer or Red Storm Entertainment didn't do a good job. Game came out in November 2014. It received really good critics. People liked the game, gameplay, open world graphics, characters and soundtracks. Well, I don't know about the soundtrack. Okay, this one is good, but I wouldn't say soundtrack is the good part of the game. Hell, I like the game a lot, but soundtracks are not that good. Well, most of the people like Far Cry 4, but they said story is similar to Far Cry 3. Well, it's true. We have Pagan Min, Boss, Sabal, Dennis, and AJ, Jason. It's different, guys. Come on, we have different characters. Okay, story is very similar to Far Cry 3, but I like the story development. Ubisoft Montreal took the lead of Far Cry series after 2005. It means after Far Cry Instincts. Ubisoft Montreal was always head of the development of Far Cry games. Of course, Ubisoft Montreal didn't develop Far Cry by himself. Other studios like Ubisoft Toronto, Red Storm Entertainment, Ubisoft Shanghai, Ubisoft Kiev helped. It's a big game. You need big studios. Ubisoft Montreal was head of the development. Also, they worked for campaign and decided how game gonna be. Ubisoft Toronto worked on the Shangri-La segments of the campaign. Well, I like this campaign chapters. I enjoyed it. It felt like I am playing a different game. Red Storm Entertainment handled the development of competitive multiplayer. Well, I played Far Cry 4, but I don't think multiplayer of Far Cry 4 or any Far Cry games was good. I think Far Cry series just better for campaign, not suited for multiplayer or co-op. Well, I don't know about co-op because I don't have friends to experience with. Well, I have friends, but he hates first-person shooters. Man, how do you call yourself a man if you don't like first-person shooters? Can you check your balls, please? Never mind, Ubisoft Kiev developed the game's PC version. Well, I think PC version of the game is good. I think Kiev did a good job. They started Far Cry 4 development in late 2012 after Assassin's Creed's launch. The game creative director is Alex Hutchinson, who had experience with Assassin's Creed games. They developed the game in Dunya 2 engine. They also developed Far Cry 3 with this engine. But for Far Cry 4, they upgraded this engine so they can do things better. Gameplay development. When brainstorming ideas for the new Far Cry game, the development team originally planned on developing a direct sequel to Far Cry 3. They planned to bring back some antagonists like Vaz and some characters in Far Cry 3, but after arguing few days, developer team decided not doing. Because they did what they wanna do in Far Cry 3, they achieved what they wanna achieve in this game, so they decided something new for Far Cry 4. Team like wingsuit mechanic a lot, so they wanted to improve vertical mobility. Well, that's good. In Far Cry 4, I like this flying things. It's so fun to use. Game developer wanted us to access many things, so they gave an option to ride an elephant and flying things. It's a good change. I like elephants, not in real life though. Developer wanted to make a brand new game, not a standalone. That's why they didn't add previous characters. Well, they added Phyllis. They added some character like Willis and Herc because developer wanted us to know this is the same universe. Basically, they put these characters for reference. Developer team didn't want to make a different game. They knew Far Cry 3 game mechanic were good, so they tried to improve every mechanic. I think that's good. If something is good, try to make it better. Don't be lazy and copy everything you did right, Ubisoft. As a result, they made bigger game than Far Cry 4. They made the map, outposts, castles, cars, missions bigger and better. Developers knew player who played Far Cry 3 spent a lot of time in open world, so they tried to make Far Cry 4's open world bigger and more interactive. Kairat is a fictional country in the Himalayas region. When building Kairat, the developers merged the elements from real world regions, including India, Nepal, and Tibet. I think Kairat is way better than India. I don't wanna go India. It wasn't never compelling for me, but I like to go Kairat. It looks nice and peaceful. The map is same size as Far Cry 3, but Kairat is more dense, diverse, and has varied environments. They wanted to make different terrains. To make map design better, creator team sent a group of developers to Nepal to experience and record the culture. I think that's a really good idea. I like Far Cry 4 map design. It's getting clear that they work for this real hard. When they wanna send developer team to Nepal, they changed the story a little. They inspired by Nepalese Civil War. They decided to consider making part of the Far Cry 4 story. Well, one trip can change your life and can change your game. Pagan Min looks coming from film named Brother in 2000 and character inspired from Ichi the Killer. They wanted the Pagan Min sadistic but confident. Well, I am sure he is sadistic and they wanted a good voice actor, so they hired Troy Baker. They thought Troy's voice will give Pagan charisma. According to Baker, Yusuf gave him a script for the audition, but he chose not to follow it and instead decided to threaten to cut off the face of an assistant using Pagan Min's tone. Well, that's what I call actor. What a great actor. Perfect guy for voiceovering Pagan Min. Release and commercial. With Far Cry 3 being a commercial success, Ubisoft considered the Far Cry series one of their most important brands. Say whatever you wanna say, Far Cry 3 was a good game. The game officially announced on May 15, 2014, and the first gameplay footage was revealed during the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2014. Games cover art showed in that event, but people accused Far Cry 4 being racist because Pagan Min's hand was on top of the black guy. Oh my god, this is always happening. It's not racism. Some people are just call everything racist. It's getting old. Critics. Many game review company gave high score to the game, but they didn't like the story. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. For me, it has a bad side, but overall it's above average. Most of the people criticize the story and characters. Reviewers say story wasn't interesting and characters not well written, but most of them liked Pagan Min. Well, I'm thinking the same. I wanted to like AJ, Sabal, Anita, but they weren't compelling characters, which I agree. In Far Cry 3, even Jason is an interesting character. Other than story and characters, reviewers like the game a lot. They like the map, they like the action, they enjoy the fighting against enemies, gameplay, hunting, exploring, side missions. Basically, they liked everything about gameplay. Reviewers also liked the visuals and graphics too. They liked the map, traveling, scenery, everything about graphics was good, and most of them liked Shangri-La episode's graphic. I like it a lot too. I like the colors, atmosphere. It was fascinating for its time. Even now, I think it looks very nice. Overall, they liked the gameplay and graphics, but they have mixed review on story and characters. Sales. Ubisoft expected the game sell at least 6 million copies in the first year of the release. Far Cry 4 became the fastest selling game and the most successful launch in the series in the first week of the release. The game sold more than 10 million copies. Well, I think most of the players played this game from torrents. I can't lie, I was expecting at least 20 million copies. I think every gamer knows Far Cry 4 and most of the gamers played this game. That's why I was expecting little higher than 10 million. Anyway, we are end of the video. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe and make a comment about video. It's really important. See you in the next video. Have a nice day.